Well, today's lecture is of two parts. In the first part, we should discuss timekeeping in an earth-bound laboratory. Imagine that we are on Earth in the equator, and on the equator there is a laboratory. We are in that laboratory. That means we are earthbound laboratory inhabitant. Now we measure time by our clocks. Now the question is, what is the world line of our frame? What is the world line of our laboratory? The world line is not a geodesic. We have discussed about geodesic. Geodesic is a frame or body or a world line which is free falling. But an earth-bound laboratory is not a free falling laboratory. It is fixed on the surface of the earth. It does not accelerate toward the center of the earth. If you take a body little above the earth, that moves downward. But the earth-bound laboratory does not fall beneath. So it is not free falling. So it is not a geodesic world line. Okay. We shall use T for the time kept by an observer which is far away from Earth. And far away means he is not in the field of the Earth. So there is an observer who is far away, distant from us. He is taking time with his clock, which is called T. And in our laboratory, time is tau, because our laboratory time is our proper time. So the world line of an earth-bound laboratory is given by number 1, T plus gamma tau, because surely tau is our time, T is the distant observer's time. And as we know from special relativity, a stationary observer sees a proper time which is less and his time is bigger. Okay. Next parameter is R. Now the earth-bound laboratory is fixed. Its radial distance does not change, so R is constant. Then comes theta. Theta is the pole latitude measured from the North Pole. So that is also fixed, constant. Or pi by 2, because we are in the equator. We are on the equator, so theta is constant and pi by 2. Then remains phi, the angle we sweep. as the earth rotates. So say Earth's rotation angular velocity is omega, so it will be omega tau. Usually we write omega t, but by our time tau is the time, so the phi measured by the distance of the tau will be omega tau. Okay. Now we need to know the metric and that's derivative. That is actually the L, the Lagrangian. Before we go to Lagrangian, we shall write the x dot mu. That means the rate of change of the coordinates, and dot denote differentiation with respect to tau. So if you here differentiate t with respect to tau, you get gamma. So gamma. If you differentiate r equal constant, you get 0. If you differentiate theta which is 10^2, you get 0. If you differentiate with respect to tau, phi dot is omega. So x dot mu is this. Now we can write g mu x dot mu. First of all, take the Schwarzschild metric. Take the Schwarzschild metric. In Schwarzschild metric, what is that? C square 1 minus a by r. Then what? dt square. But here is a dot. Here is a dot. So it is divided by d tau square. So here you have to divide by d tau square. Then comes dr square divided by 1 minus a by r. But dr is 0. Dr is 0. None. Then theta term? No, there is no theta term. Phi term? Yes, there is a phi term. Minus r square sin square theta d phi square. Theta is pi by 2, sin square theta is sin square pi by 2 is 1. So what remains? Remains d phi square by d tau square, which can be written as c square 1 minus a by r. dt by d tau is gamma. Here come here. dt by d tau is gamma. So here you will get gamma square. Minus r square and d phi by d tau is what? d phi by d tau is omega. So r square omega square. This is one equation. Now what is the velocity of the laboratory measured by the distant observer? What is the velocity of the laboratory measured by distant observer? Which is v. Surely this is r d phi by dt, because distance observer has a time t. V equals r omega. This is the invented formula we know. V equals r omega. Omega is d phi by dt. Now we can write this r d phi by d tau by dt, right? Is equals r d phi by d tau is phi dot, and phi dot is nothing but omega divided by, because this is 1 by omega gamma. This is 1 by gamma. Because dt by d tau is gamma, d tau by dt is 1 by gamma, so b is r omega by gamma. So now use this formula and this formula to eliminate omega. Just use that equation. Actually we can write here this is equal to c square. You know this, because we have ds square equals c square d tau square, and L equals g mu d x dot mu, that means d tau divided by d tau. So if you, and this is equal to ds square by d tau square, which is nothing but c square, because ds square equals c square d tau square. So see this ds square by d tau square is c square, which is the Lagrangian. So you can write here c square. So you need not consider this part. Consider only this equals c square. This equals c square. and then eliminate omega using this relation. You will find gamma equals 1 minus b square by c square plus a by r 1 to the power minus half. So gamma is now 1 minus b square by c square plus 1 by a by r 1 to minus half. We know that in special relativity, gamma is given by 1 over square root of 1 minus b square by c square. But now 1 minus b square by c square whole to minus half is the only term. Rather there is a term a by r. So the distant observer will see that the earthbound laboratory, earthbound clock is running slow by the factor of gamma. But listen, you think of this relation T equals gamma tau. T equals gamma tau. So gamma is a factor by which this clock is running slow. Gamma is the factor by which the proper time is less than the time by the another observer. So the distant observer will see that the earthbound clock is moving slow, but not only by 1 by b square minus b square by c square, rather minus a by r is also present. Why a by r? A depends on what? A equals 2gm by c square. So it depends on the mass of the earth. So it is nothing but gravitational field. Gravitation slowing down further, not only the velocity, but the gravitational field also influencing time. Gravitational field influencing time. That's why gamma contains this term a by r. Okay, so much for timekeeping in our laboratory. Now we begin discussion about orbit. Say we are considering motion of the planets. Planets move in the gravitational field of sun, and the planets are, though moving in elliptical orbit or circular orbit, they are in free fall, because you know always there is a component of velocity toward the center of the system, this is the sun, toward the sun. Always there is a velocity component toward the sun. So a planet is a object which follows the geodesy. It is in free fall. Now what will be the orbit of planet? When we say orbit of planet, we draw something like this. Now my question is there any time related here? No. You see this curve when you eliminate from your reference the reference of time. You observe. Total observation is this, and then it repeats. There is no question of time. In the figure, there is no question of time. In the figure, the question is of, say, this is the focus, this is R, this is phi. In the orbit, only things are R and phi. In other words, we want a formula for R function of phi. R function of phi. How R and phi related? That will give you the orbit of the planet, any planet. Now, since this is a geodesic motion, we can use the Schwarzschild metric, and from that we can get the invariant Lagrangian. G mu x dot mu equals L equals C square 1 minus A by R E dot square minus R dot square by 1 minus A by R minus R square by dot square. We have discussed this previously also. We have discussed this. How this comes? Whenever there is no dot ds2, then here is t square. But whenever you have dot, that means you are dividing by theta square. You divide by theta square, it becomes t dot square. Dr square divided by t square, r dot square. Sin square say consider the orbit and on the equator of the Earth's, the sun's, on the equator of the sun's field. So sin square theta is what? 1. So you will have phi dot square. So this will be surely equal to c square. This is always obvious. This is c square. Now t is cyclic. There is no t. Single t is there is no single t. T is cyclic. If we differentiate with respect to t, we get 2t dot. 2c square we cancel. We write 1 minus A by R t dot equals gamma. This is our definition. Surely this will be a constant. We know that del by del t dot is a constant because t is cyclic. Also phi r is not cyclic, so we cannot find r equation. Phi, there is no phi, so we can get another equation for phi. So differentiate, you get 2 r square phi dot, cancel 2, write r square phi dot equals j. R square phi dot equals j. This is called energy constant. This is called angular momentum constant. Not actually the angular momentum, not actually the energy, but they are related to energy and angular momentum. Okay? Now we can write r dot. Here is r dot. We can write r dot equals dr by d tau. Then we can write dr by d phi by d tau, right? dr by d phi by d tau. This is equals dr by d phi. D phi by d tau is what? Phi dot. dr by d phi dot. Now we have how many equations? 4 equations. This is one. Forget about this. This c square up to phi dot square equals c square. This is one equation. This is another equation 2. This is another equation 3. This is another equation 4. We have 4 equations. From these 4 equations, eliminate t dot, r dot, phi dot from the 4 equations. Eliminate. Just substitute one after another relation from taking from these relations. Now we get j square by r to the power 4 dr by d phi whole square equals c square gamma square minus 1 plus a c square by r minus j square by I square plus a j square by r cubed. Whenever you eliminate t dot r dot phi dot from the above equations, you get the relation like this. But usually we take the variable 1 by r equals u. 1 by r equals u is used. So convert this equation to u by using u equals 1 by r. So here it will be s square u, here s is just square u square, here s square u cubed. Here d by d phi you have to carefully eliminate from here the r. Very carefully. Whenever you carefully eliminate these 1 by r variable and you go to 1 by r variable, not r variable, 1 by r variable, that is u variable, you get an equation from this to this du by d phi whole square equals a u cubed minus u square plus alpha u plus beta, where alpha equals a c square by j square and beta equals c square gamma square minus 1 by j square. This is called orbit equation, because here the dependent variable is u, independent variable is phi. Whenever you solve this, you get graph of r 1 by r versus phi, 1 by r versus phi. Then you can draw a orbit. That's why it is called the orbit equation. Here is no time. Here we have 1 by r and phi. 1 by r and phi. Whenever you solve this, you get 1 by r as a function of phi, you can draw an orbit. So this is called the orbit equation. So my students, today this month we shall meet again very soon. Thank you very much.